Hey, Dr. Cloud, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yeah. How can I help you?
I was just calling in for some stuff that um kind of struggling with right now with my spouse. Um, and I would love to hear your side, obviously, and that'll be awesome.
Well, I it sounds like what you're struggling with is she thinks you're so awesome and so perfect and never wants to disagree with anything you say and just wants to worship you and hold you up and adore you. And that's just hard to deal with. Is that right?
Almost, almost.
Almost close. Almost got it, didn't I? I was really almost on the
Almost
bullseye.
got
Okay.
it. You almost got
So if it's not that, what is it?
it. Wow. So I don't know. I basically, um, they got like, okay. So I'm a little nervous. Let me talk now. Um, so basically, I'm having troubles in my marriage and like setting
How long you
boundaries with
been married?
her.
How long you been
I've been
married?
married two years.
2 years. How long were you all together before that?
So our relationship was super fast. Kind of was like, I guess like I was coming off of a really bad relationship. She was also coming off of a really bad relationship. And we kind of like, I guess we were feeling lonely and it took off
Mm.
from there. And then we fell into sin and then we had to get married. Almost
How
that
long?
situation. And
How long from meeting
it
until
was like, so basically like 9 months.
9 months from meeting to marriage?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And when did you find out in the 9 months? When did you find out you were having a baby?
Within like the 6 months.
6 months. So you had
Yeah.
6 months. You had 6 months of dating, um,
Yeah.
where you didn't have any kind of complications externally or circumstantially. So you had six, now
Yeah.
in that 6 months, did you guys experience any of these problems?
Yes, we did. Kind of the stuff that we're experiencing now, but I guess like I couldn't see the red flags and yeah.
Okay. Um, so tell me what's going on. How can I, what's the question?
So the question is how can I so she has like a lot of like denial and anger and I have a lot of like pride when we start fighting. But how
Now
can I
she
commit
has denial and anger about what? What would be
like
examples of that?
an example is like I would like give her like a proper criticism like hey babe you need to improve in this area and she'll kind of like get really upset and be like I already know what I have to do.
Wait a minute.
Kind of like
You
how can
hold
I
on. Say yeah. Wait. You say, hey baby, you need to improve in this area. Is that
yeah
literally what you'll say?
yes that's I've been actually trying to work really hard on my communication and connection and all that stuff
Is
and
that
most of the
line
time
after you worked on it or before?
um I guess after.
After? What were you saying before you went to this communication workshop? What what
I
were you
was
saying
really I was
before?
I was really off the handles. I used to be like, "Oh, deal with yourself. What are you talking about? You're the problem." But then I started
Okay,
getting
so
more healthy
you
through
had
your
more
book.
anger and aggression with it. Is that what
Yes,
you kind of
yes,
did?
because they
Okay.
were like, yeah, I was feeling misunderstood, and she would get misunderstood, and it was just bad. So
All right.
basically,
And
my
then
question is, how can I? Okay, I'm sorry.
no, I was curious. So how did you said you went on a communication improvement plan, and then when you graduate from that school, they taught you to say, "Hey, baby, you need to improve in this area." What did you do? Did you how what was the program of getting better? I'm kind of playing with you
It
here
was
because
basic.
I want you to even get better than that. But go ahead.
So so it was just like a marriage counseling thing, and
Ah,
and we went through that, and like they tell you you have to do this and do that, but kind
what
of
were the this and
it's
that?
kind
That's
of
kind of
like
what I'm curious about.
basically like, oh, you have to improve in this area to me, and she has to improve in here, and we were both confused, and we were like, okay, I guess we have to improve on that, but as time goes by, you see the same impacts and the same effects, and it keeps coming back, and you don't know kind of like how to break those cycles.
Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
give me
and
give me an example. Give me a concrete example of where you would say, baby, you need to improve in that area. What's the actual thing that came up?
okay, so the main reason why I'm calling it is because it happened yesterday, right?
Because
So,
what?
because we had kind of like a similar situation yesterday.
Oh, good.
So
Okay. So it's fresh. So
I got
what
home. Yeah.
tell me what happened.
So, so I got home. And she said, "Oh, let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk." And I got home early. And we're ready to go for the walk. And she was kind of just communicating that she had a rough day at work. And
Hmm.
I'm like, that's awesome. And I was just hearing. And then I was just hearing, and then she would just tell me instantly, like, "Hey, I feel unheard. I feel denial. I feel like you don't hear me." Um,
Oh,
but I was actually getting my kid ready, and I'm like, okay, half hearing her, but I was ready to go hear her outside and give her full attention, right? Um, and then I already saw her that she was upset about something, and I'm trying to hear her out, and then
hmm.
I'm talking, and then she cuts me midway, and I'm like, hey, babe, listen, I'm like, you need to improve and like allow me to finish my sentences, and I caught me halfway, and then that was just a trigger, and she was just like, I already know what I have to do. You don't have to tell me. I already know what I have to do. And I'm like, okay. And then that instantly helps. That instantly makes me defensive. I mean, put my defenses goes up, and then
Yeah.
and so
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
So
you did something, she got defensive. When she got defensive, you got defensive back.
yeah,
So now we're in a loop,
yes. So
right?
I guess like my biggest question is like we have like these cycles that keep coming back, and I don't know how to break them. And I want to be able to
Yeah.
communicate with her better. I want her to be able to communicate better. Like I
Yeah.
love this woman. I have a kid with her. Like we've been like marriage counseling.
Yeah.
And we want to, and actually, I just literally while you were on the phone waiting for you, I literally went to Boundaries.me and I signed up, and I want a community to help me to, to build communication, be able to
Oh,
have healthy boundaries with my wife.
that's so
Um,
cool. As you
yeah,
describe it, one of the things that I was thinking was, I mean, you sound like a sweetheart underneath this. I think I would bet you guys
thank you.
have a real, no, you do. I would bet you guys have a real kind of, there's a good softness underneath all this when you're not kind of poking each other in the eye, and you got some good,
Yeah,
there's some good in this relationship to build on. I
yeah,
bet that. I'm glad you signed up. You know what I'm doing? I want you to talk to Albie when you get off and make sure that you get the code for the. I have a webinar on there that I want the two of you to watch together, called the
okay.
Marriage Equation, and it's a 2 hour
Marriage
two
equation.
hour webinar. It has a lot in there about these kind of conflicts, communicating better, and
Okay, yeah,
things. But here, I'm going to answer your specific question. I wish I could
okay,
talk to you for a long time. There's so much in this. Um,
yeah,
but what happened was, okay, so you were getting stuff together, you were kind of listening, your heart
yeah,
was good, right? You were
yeah,
trying. I
yeah,
mean, it wasn't like you were saying, I don't care when anyone's going to any of the anybody in this house, I'm going out and have a six pack or something. You were actually
exactly.
invested, right?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
you're coming at this moment with, and here's the word, with great intentions,
yeah,
right? Motivations. You're
yes,
for her. You're trying to get the baby ready to go on the walk, all this kind of stuff. So here you are intending to do something good with her and for her. And then she says to you, for lack of a better word, she says, you're failing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
how does that feel? Right? It feels crummy, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
then you say, so she's already feeling not understood and not joined. Both of you are now
Yeah.
alone in that moment, And then you tell her she's in a crummy place. You say to her, hey, baby, you need to improve in that area.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the neuroscience of this. That is not giving somebody feedback in a moment when they themselves are hurt and defensive is never going to be, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
It's just never going to work. Have you ever had a dog?
Yes, I had a dog.
Okay. Did you ever have a dog and they were injured and you took them to the vet and they had a broken leg or they had a splinter or something and
Yeah.
and you try to help them? What do? Sometimes
They fall back down.
well, they fall back down. But sometimes the most loving dog, they'll bare their teeth and growl and maybe snap at somebody that they love.
Yeah.
Because they're already hurt and they think they're going to get hurt worse. And so they snap back. Well, this is a loop that couples get into. So, how do you help that loop? Well, here's what I want you to try. All right. I'm going to be you.
Okay.
You be her yesterday. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm getting things together here. And you just said, I had a rough day, right?
Yeah.
And I say kind of some half-ass sort of, I'm not in it, I'm in it, whatever didn't work, right?
Yeah.
And then you says what? I'm you. So then she says what?
She's like, and so she's like, you're not hearing me. I feel like you're not hearing me. You're half hearing me. And I was really trying. I didn't even notice
Hey man,
that side,
whoa. No, I'm gonna be you. You be her.
Okay.
I'm gonna be you. We're
Okay.
gonna role play this. So say to me
All
what
right.
she said to you. Say to me what she said to you.
So she was like, she's like, I feel like you're not hearing me. I've been trying to talk to you. You're not hearing me. You're half hearing me. I've been trying to talk to you, but you're not hearing me. And
that baby, I'm so sorry. That must feel awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, you're right. I was kind of half hearing you. No, I want to hear you, but I'm really sorry. Then, do you want me to wait on what I'm doing? Let's talk about this, or I can finish it, and then I can. But I'm so sorry. That must have felt really bad.
Yeah.
All right, now when I do that, now she's got somebody that's actually on her team.
Okay.
So I want you to think about this. I want you to hear her complaint as exactly what it is. It's just a complaint. It's not an indictment or a criticism or anything like that. It's a complaint that you can move in and go embrace and just empathize with. And don't worry about being right or wrong. Now, as she turned into, railing on you about irrational, all kinds of crazy stuff for no reason, this and other, we'd have a different kind of conversation. But I want you to start with breaking this loop by starting it with just giving some moving towards her and say, oh, you're right. See, it doesn't matter whether we're right or wrong. It still felt that way to her. So we're going to go hold her heart in that moment with how it feels to her. And then you're going to be on the same team again. Try that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. And I right now I'm kind of hurting because I just went to work, and I'm gonna talk to her after this. And so it was like a blowout fight, and so I don't like to get hit. Nobody likes to get hit, obviously. And then as soon as like she gets afraid, I get afraid. Like one of her defects is like cursing, like instantly just curses you, or like gets really like kind of like not disrespectful, but it's like really like almost crossing the boundary.
Yeah.
And I kind of get scared because we both come from traumatic backgrounds. My mother and my father used to abuse me. Her mother, her father used to abuse me, her.
Yeah.
And
That's,
so that's something that we really trying to. We're not trying to be in a what is it, statistics. Can't even say
yeah.
the word. But we're trying to break the cycle, and we
You
love
can.
God, and God has and yeah, and God has called us to like to big things, and then we just keep in the same cycle, and we are
Yeah.
losing the hope. Especially me, I'm losing the hope, and I feel like
Oh
I
man.
can't break it. I feel like it's like I'm not gonna be able to keep this marriage, keep my kid, and I love my kid, and I love my wife, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
so it's really hard.
it is really hard, especially when you love both of them so much and you keep hitting this trauma loop over and over.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's what
really,
it is.
but the good thing is that loop sits in a bigger circle of all the good
Yeah.
things that you have with her. What if you can do it? If if you feel like you can do this after our talking,
Okay. Yeah.
you're going back home, and what if you said, I was thinking about yesterday, and I'm so sorry that we got sideways with each other, and I could have responded better, and you felt unheard, and uh, I just want us to. Well, I do want us to hear each other, and
Yeah.
sometimes I get hurt. You know, when you feel hurt and you're mad, sometimes I get hurt and then I strike back, and I just kind of describe that loop a little bit. But I'd say, but I really do want to hear you, and I'd start that way. Now, at some point, what you guys are going to need, because you don't, and I understand you have your own trauma too, and you don't want to get cussed at all the time when something goes
Yeah.
wrong, right? So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah. So when y'all at a moment when y'all are in a better place, one of the good things that couples can do is say,
Yeah.
there's going to be probably some moments where we ding each other, we hit that hurt place a little bit. When that happens, let's get a strategy for that. When that happens,
Okay.
what would
Yeah.
be a good thing for us to do then? And you talk
Yeah.
about that at a time when you really have all your faculties together, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
and get a plan. But I would go in today, after yesterday, and I love what you said to me, and I'd say that to her.
Okay.
How much you love her, and how much you love what y'all have, and how much you love your baby, and just say, I need to learn to, when I'm hurt, respond differently. But I'm sorry I missed you, and I'm sorry I didn't hear you. And what is that like for you? I would ask her, what's that like for you when that happens? And just hear her. And then
Okay.
at some point, when you want her back you get on the same side again, then you can talk about some strategies of, you know, when she gets mad, you don't want to be cussed at. That's a reasonable request, I think.
Yeah.
But sometimes when she's hurt, it may not be a request that she can fulfill. And so then you got to have a strategy of, in those moments when we do get in that fight or flight strike
Yeah.
mode, what are we going to do? Okay, I got to run. I want you to talk to Albie and get the seminar, the webinar, the marriage equation that's
Okay.
on the Boundaries.me website. This
Okay.
it will help you in this loop. I really believe, because I talk specifically about this, and
Okay.
how couples
Thank you
can
so
get
much,
through it.
Dr. Cloud.
All right, man. I love your heart, and I love how you want all this to work, and I believe that you will. I really believe that. So thank you for your call.